I was brushing my teeth when the image hit me sharp and sudden. My hands, soaked in blood, trembling as they held a rusted scalpel, gagged. The minty foam turned bitter, metallic, like licking a battery wrapped in old pennies. The air grew thick, cloying with the smell of singed hair and rot. The mirror in front of me, fogged not from steam, but from something breathing behind the glass. I blinked. My reflection stared back, lips twitching into a smile that wasn't mine. Its eyes were older, hungrier. Behind it, faint shapes moved blurred, figures circling like vultures. A fly buzzed into my ear, then silence. Not quiet, total silence. My ears rang with it, then a whisper. "You promised." I dropped a toothbrush. It hit the sink with a sound like bone-cracking dot once. My grandmother warned me never to speak in mirrors after sundown. "They listen," she said. I never believed her until my reflection whispered again. "Do you remember what you buried?" Asterisk. The house felt wrong from the moment I stepped in. The floorboards moaned beneath my feet, not the usual creaks, but long, drawn-out groans like something ancient waking up beneath me. The wallpaper peeled in long strips, revealing symbols beneath blackened runes etched into the plaster, almost burned in. A foul, coppery stench hung in the air, thick enough to taste. Tried to open a window, but the glass was warm, pulsing, faintly beneath my fingertips, as if the house were alive and breathing through its walls. For a brief moment, its light broke through the clouds, spilling golden light into the hallway. I breathed easier. Maybe I was imagining it all. Maybe it was just dust and decay playing tricks. Then I saw an eaten old doll nailed to the ceiling above the stairs, its mouth sewn shut with black thread. My grandmother's voice echoed in my mind. Some things are kept quiet for a reason. What had they silenced? And why was it watching me? Asterisk. It started with a ticking, soft at first, like a pocket watch buried beneath the floorboards. Then louder, closer, tick, tick. I tore through drawers, under furniture, even ripped back the yellowed curtains, but found nothing. The smell of mold grew stronger, sour and wet, like something long dead had seeped into the wood. I pressed my ear to the wall and recoiled. It was warm, vibrating faintly, as if something massive was shifting behind it. A moment of silence offered a strange comfort. The ticking stopped. I laughed, too loudly, too long. Relief flashed through me. Maybe it was just old plumbing or the echo of a clock from the neighbor's house then. I saw the scratch marks then, deep grooves running down the hallway wall, as if something had been dragged up toward the attic. That's when the whispers returned. "You were there. You helped, but helped what? And why can't I remember the blood on my hands?" Asterisk. I needed answers, so I went digging literally. In the basement, beneath a pile of dust-choked tarps, I found a small cedar box sealed shut with wax and bound in red twine. My fingers trembled as I touched it. The wood was ice cold, sticky, and left a faint metallic taste in my mouth, like old coins or blood. I pried it open, and inside photographs, grainy, black and white. People standing in a circle, blindfolded, hands linked. And in the center, me, younger, smiling, but I had never been there. The room swayed. The basement light flickered. The walls wept a thin, black fluid that smelled of sulfur and spoiled milk. A breeze curled around my neck, whispering a language I didn't recognize, but my bones remembered. I stumbled back, breathing heavy, heart pounding, then silence, stillness. For a moment, it felt like whatever had stirred had gone. But then a child's voice echoed from behind the furnace. "Want to see what you buried down here?" Asterisk. The child's voice dissolved into laughter then, raspy, echoing far too long for the size of the room. Kai turned sharply, expecting some twisted prank, but no one was there. The air turned thick, tasting of copper and mildew. My skin crawled. Something unseen brushed past me, leaving a trail of cold across my spine. I backed toward the stairs, but they looked different longer, darker. As I climbed, each step groaned, bending underfoot as though resisting me. I made it to the living room. Light poured through the curtains, warm, familiar. I collapsed onto the couch, heart racing. Maybe the stress had triggered a psychotic break. That's what the therapist had warned about. Unprocessed trauma can manifest vividly. Maybe it was all in my head. Then the couch shifted. I looked down. The cushions pulsed, like lungs drawing breath. My legs were sinking, and in the TV's reflection, I wasn't sitting alone anymore. Who's smiling back at me? Asterisk. I tore myself, free from the couch's grasp, skin slick with something warm to warm. I stumbled backward into the bookshelf, knocking loose a leather-bound volume I'd never seen before. The spine was cracked, brittle, and marked with symbols resembling human eyes, scratched out with ink. Pages whispered as they flipped on their own, settling on a passage. Memory is not always earned. Sometimes it's implanted. My stomach turned. I could taste rust in the air. Or was it blood? The house groaned around me. Wallpaper peeled like dead skin, revealing frantic etchings beneath names, dates. One of them circled in red. My birthday. I laughed. A short, broken laugh. Just stress, right? Hypnotherapy can unlock things. That's what he told me. Then, the floorboards buckled. The book hissed shut. The lights died again. And from behind the wall, something began to knock once, twice. Then it whispered my name. How does it know me if I never knew it? Asterisk, the knocking stopped, but only after the 7th tap, as if completing some hidden ritual. I stood, frozen, heart, a jackhammer. My breath clouded the air, though it wasn't cold. The silence felt designed, like the house was holding its breath with me. And I saw it, etched beneath the peeled wallpaper, a crude figure drawn in ash and nails, a man with spiral eyes and no mouth. My knees buckled. Visions slammed into me. Candlelit rooms, strangers chanting in a forgotten tongue. My own voice whispering words I had never learned. I ran to the kitchen, trying to anchor myself. Light streamed in. It smelled of rosemary and soap. Familiar. Safe. I even laughed until the faucet turned on by itself. Thick, black liquid spilled out, reeking of rot. The drawers flew open. Knives clattered out like teeth. My reflection in the oven door didn't move when I did. Whose hands were covering my shoulders? Asterisk, the house came alive that night. Walls groaned like old lungs, exhaling centuries of sorrow. The floorboards swelled and pulsed beneath my feet, as if veins throbbed beneath the wood. I tasted iron in the air, sharp and old, like licking a rusted nail. A rancid sweetness wafted from the corners, as if rotting fruit had been left out. For spirits. I tried to leave, but the door wouldn't budge. Not stuck resisting, as if it wanted me to stay. I shouted. No one heard. No one ever would. Then the lights came back on. My phone pinged. A text from my therapist. You're almost ready. For a second, I felt relief. Maybe it was all in my head. Maybe the wallpaper peeled back in slow, deliberate strips. Beneath it were hundreds of eyes, painted, human-sized, watching, blinking, and on the ceiling, in chalky letters, whose life did you steal? What had I done? Asterisk, I ran upstairs, lungs burning, throat raw from screaming. Every step felt like trudging through wet concrete. The walls shivered with each breath I took, like they were mimicking me, mocking me. The bedroom door creaked open, on its own, revealing my reflection. No, someone else in the mirror that hadn't been there yesterday. My mouth was closed, but the reflection smiled. My heart pounded. I tasted bile. The air was thick, humid, with the scent of decayed roses and something metallic, like pennies soaked in sweat. Then silence, stillness. The reflection was gone. A single breeze swept through, cool and calm. I sank to the floor, sobbing in relief. Maybe it was over. Maybe I was free. Then the drawer slid open behind me. Inside, a child's drawing, crayon figures of me, and a second version of me standing behind, its black eyes and no mouth, and written in jagged strokes. He lives in you now. Who is he? Asterisk. I left the house that night. Or I think I did. The air outside was colder than death, thick with the scent of burnt sage and iron. Every step away from that place felt like dragging chains I couldn't see, but could feel tightening around my mind. My skin itched like it was rejecting my own body, and every shadow stretched longer than it should. I told myself it was over. I whispered old protected prayers I'd found in a dusty library book, half believing they'd work. For a while, they did. No voices, no reflections, just silence. But now, I see him in other mirrors, in cafe windows, car windshields, a brief, but always grinning. The visions return nightly me, sitting in the therapist chair, wearing his face. And I can't stop wondering, if I left that house, who's living in me now?